Welcome back, boys. Hit fucking episode
Boys, you
20.
can't even say boys.
Men.
Welcome back to the Three Musketeers, mate.
Episode 20, eh?
We're
We did it.
staffed. Boys are calling it chucking
Our
sickies.
shoulders are starting to hurt.
It hurts, boys.
Carrying them, eh?
The
It hurts.
OGs right
Soon
now.
it's going to be a one-man podcast. That's
Far
right.
out, man.
Jeez, you're
It's
going to
just me
see.
and my laptop.
Yeah. We've just been playing highlights of the week's games.
Arnie gave everyone blue balls on his left, mate. Far out, mate.
Man.
Yeah,
What's going on, boys? How's your weekend?
Yeah, good, man. How's your week?
Mate, I can't even complain. Bit of work, bit of assignments due and that.
Doesn't even feel like weekends, eh? Because I've been just putting all the World Cup, mates. Really
Game
quick
every day.
weeks, really quick weeks, but you don't. I'm losing track of days, man.
Yeah, I
The
know.
wrap up to the end of the year is always like that, man.
Yeah.
That's
It's been
actually
good
true.
though. It's been so good.
Everything's
Quick.
so fast paced at the end of the year.
Yeah, you been good at him?
Yeah, I'm well, man. I'm well. Things ramping up in at work.
Beautiful.
Sort of keep myself busy, but I leave in. I had a countdown last week. I leave on the 15th of December.
No
so that's
way.
15.
Right.
Couple of days. 17 days.
2.5
Just under
weeks.
3 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, 2.5 weeks. That's mad, bro.
I'm
Excited, bro.
I'm
Excited.
excited for you.
So shout out to Taha, who a mate from Kanafe previously. He's over there in Qatar, so hopefully I'm in Qatar for about 24 hours. So hopefully I get to catch a game. I think there's a semi-final we're going to try catch, and just want to see the city, and it's going to be buzzing, man, with the World Cup and
Have you been able
semi-finals
to
and
score
stuff.
tickets?
Sorry?
Have you ever scored tickets? to the game?
I think Taha will be able to organise. It's just we're going to have to see if there's going to be a game on the day that I'm there.
What day is that?
The 16th.
16th?
I arrive
Should
in
be
Qatar.
something,
Sure.
bro.
There should be. I think there's a
Qatar,
There's
semi-final.
definitely a game on the 16th. 'Cause
Yeah.
The whole thing wraps up on the 18th or the 19th.
I'm pretty sure there should be. I think it could be playing for third place. Could
That's
be.
still good enough.
Yeah,
Man.
man. To be fair, like I'm even happy just to be in and
To be in the
around
city.
all that
Even a fan
multicultural
festival
story.
or
Yeah,
whatever.
bro. I'm excited. And I'm gonna bring the fucking real vibe of the World Cup, mate. I'm sick of reading articles and this and that. I think a lot of people got around the World Cup, but you still see those sort of outlying people and people just.
It is what it is, bro.
Exactly.
Shut
Camera
up
with you?
after 2 weeks.
Are you taking a camera with you?
I hope so.
Okay.
I hope so. I think that's the plan.
Mm.
If not, you've always got your iPhone.
That's it, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
I definitely want to do a bit of content when I'm in Lebanon, just for myself, sort
I
of
think
thing.
so,
And
yeah, it's a good
I think
idea.
I'm going to get like podcast content from Lebanon
That's
for like
alright.
sports and stuff. But even just that 24 hours in Qatar, that'd be sick. Just
Yeah,
like
just
a
go
vlog
straight
for one day.
interviews and shit.
Yeah, fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Which
That'll be
is
sick.
good, because the boys are starting to come back slowly.
Yeah.
So,
Oh, the content is going to
yes.
be rolling through, man.
so first of all, we get Mems come back next week.
Do you guys think? You can probably answer me from this, but he gave me one of those Ajibeh couch. And I got a cousin who's a big soccer fanatic, and he's in Lebanon in Beirut, and he's actually like watches the podcast and stuff.
Yeah.
Man, I want to give him the Ajibeh jersey. It's got Noun on the back, like my last name Noon on the back.
Yeah.
You reckon that'll be alright?
Yeah.
It'll be fine.
Well, to kick off, just
Yeah,
get another one, mate.
That's it, mate. Yeah.
Maybe
It's
we
harder
should
for him to
release-
get a jersey.
Yeah, it'll
than
mean the
it is
world
for
to
you.
him. It'll mean the world
Maybe
to
we should
him.
release a merch store, merch website.
Still- Well, you know what? Look at this. With the amount of boys chucking sickies, we're going to need something to keep pumping
Something,
content.
Mate, we're gonna definitely need something.
That's good. But,
Definitely.
boys, it's going to be a nice short episode today because really the only sport that matters is the only sport that's on. And that's the
There you
World
go.
Cup. You know, we've had now pretty much bar 2 groups. We've had most teams play 2 games now.
Twice.
And look, in terms of the quality of the football, I know some of the games have been quite boring, but on the flip side, the games that aren't boring have delivered, and they've delivered upsets. And in all that, we just want to wrap up the games real quickly. So we're not going to go through every game because there's been a lot of games played. So we did our last podcast before
The World Cup.
the second game of the
Yeah.
actual World Cup, but even kicked off, and there's been a shitload of games that have been played since. So yeah, look, I'm just got a quick agenda here, Adam. We'll run through it.
Yeah, I don't think to be fair to what you said, I don't think the quality's been down. I think 2 things. I think number one, the weather. I personally would love to see
It's
what
a big
Sui says.
factor.
Like, I don't think it's blazing hot, but a lot of these countries,
Humid,
obviously all
man.
over the world, you're at a different country. So I think, like for example, like the Japan Costa Rica. Mate, the first half was just slow. Like they're going to lulls, 10 minutes fast pace,
But-
5 minutes just mate. Like it'd be boring.
Didn't they
But
spend
you-
heaps of money air conditioning the?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you gotta understand, man, that's the thing about international football. You will never get the pace that you get in any league game, and that's just comes from the fact that you can't get a team ready for the World Cup the same way you can get them ready for a league season, for example. So you don't have 6 to 8 weeks before the season kicks off.
Yeah,
Where you're doing
pre-season and tactics.
Players get to gel. They know how movements, blah 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 blah. You don't get that.
How often are these players playing together? Like throughout a year?
International level?
Let's say it's not a World Cup year, not a qualifying year.
So usually in a traditional season, there's usually two international breaks before Christmas. Where they'll play 2 to 3 games in each of those international breaks. Then after the new year starts, I think there's another 2. And then if there's an international competition, they'll do games.
And they're just
before
like
that.
friendlies?
Friendlies, Nations League, Copa America if it's on, AFCON. Blah,
okay.
blah, blah.
Yeah.
So look, in terms of actually playing together, they don't get the luxury of playing together a lot. So I think it impacts the actual speed of the game as well. To play fast football, man, and do everything at that pace, you need to have understanding and knowledge. You know what I mean? It's like if you got 10 boys to go on the footy field and play footy, yeah, the talented players would probably win the game.
Shine, yeah.
But in terms of trying to run block plays and all of that,
The play is going to, it's not going to be as free flow. But then that sort of, let's start delving in. So then what's the difference between those teams and like, mate, if you watch Brazil closely, mate, it's like they've been playing together for like 20 years.
yeah, look, I think
Crazy.
In saying that you can't prep, you still do get to keep the same team. You got to remember, the average professional footballer plays between 8 to 12 years anyway. So
Yeah, okay.
you're lucky to get maybe 2 to 3 World Cups, maybe 4. Like Ronaldo's played 5 now, which is
mate.
quite crazy. But you get to play enough football with each other over the years that you build a little bit of chemistry. But at the end of the day, it also comes down to talent. Like
Talent, yeah.
you put 11 players, together that know how to play football, and you explain instructions to them, and they've got high level understanding on high football IQ. They tend to grasp those concepts a lot quicker. You know, it's the same thing we can argue about Origin, for example.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's a good comparison.
If you put average players together in the game of Origin, the quality of footy wouldn't be that good.
That's great.
But with Origin, why it thrives so well is because the quality of players, you're picking
so high, the best of the best
players from each state, as you'd like to say. And then it just comes down to football IQ and the intensity they bring it. So, I mean,
And they get to play yearly, and they get to play against each other, and a lot of them get to play together. Like, for example,
Yeah.
like the New South Wales squad, a lot of the spine was from Penrith and
exactly.
stuff,
So it helps like that. But to wrap it up, man, so we'll start off with, I want to start off with games from Group Day 1. Richarlison. The man put on a masterclass. You know we don't like Richarlison that much on this.
Why is there such a hatred for him? Is he just that typical Brazilian arrogance? Like, what is it? Or is there more history behind it?
It's no arrogance. For me, I find Richarlison funny. I've got nothing against him. I find him hilarious. Like, I don't get the slander against Richarlison, but that's probably because he's never really impacted like against my team or done anything against my team. But
where does that criticism come from? Is it what he does on the field or outside of the
yeah,
field?
like sometimes doing the keep you ups, the flicks. He's got a little bit of grub in him, and it's that type of like attitude that if it's not in your team,
Yeah.
you look at it and you go, bro.
Like, yeah. But then if it's on your team, you love it.
Yeah, exactly. But then the thing is, you watch him, what he's doing at Brazil, you can argue that he doesn't do that at club level. He's not delivering and he doesn't have that impact. Whereas you go put him in that Brazil team, he's starting above Jesus, for example.
So he should.
We should argue Jesus
After
has
that
had a 10 times better season. I know I slander Jesus.
But that performance, mate, fuck.
Exactly. And he's showing you what he can do. Like that goal, bro. Like the touch, the swivel, and then the fucking fact that he hit it on the half volley, bro. Like it was...
And his whole body twist, I think that's what gets me the most. I feel like with some of those goals, if they end up being goals, you're probably putting 70 or 80% of, you know, your complete talent into it. That was 110% of
Not a lot of
everything he
people
had.
can do that.
Mate, that looked incredible. Like,
Like,
I don't have a
I'm
football
telling you,
background.
not
myself.
a lot of people can do that.
Do you remember a better sort of, within the last maybe couple of World Cups, a better goal?
It's all subjective, man.
Yeah. But like
me-
technically,
For me, I'm a big fan of just a long
range.
screamer, like some ridiculous angle. You've just taken the ball, douche, and then
Like Joel
bang.
Campbell a couple of years ago.
Yeah, like you do things like when Broncos scored one of my favorite type goals again as well. I think it was in a semi-final against Uruguay. Bro, the guy put the thing top bins. I think the game was like 2-2. Put it top bins from like some ridiculous angle, bro. Put it top bins. Like that sort of stuff. That's what I like in goals. Like I just like seeing someone just welly
Whack
the
it,
ball.
yeah.
Just welly it from distance. But I can appreciate that because that's probably a lot harder to do technique-wise because he has players surrounding him. He's taken a touch, and then to have the awareness when you're not necessarily facing the goal, but to know the goal's this wide.
This is where it is. Your balance.
I want to turn and put the ball over there, and it should go in. And then just to pull it off as well, especially what it meant for that Brazilian team as well, because there is a lot of pressure on that team. The same way there's a lot of pressure riding on the Argentinian team, because these South American teams, particularly Brazil and Argentina, they're expected to be, I guess, the creme de la creme and the teams that actually come through. And a lot of people are tipping them to be either made in the semi-finals or the finals of the World Cup. So when you look at it, like you go, Richarlison's like just bagged 2 goals, and in terms of the game, it was just a standard performance from them. So it was actually really good to watch.
So good to watch. I think for me, that one game was probably one of the most enjoyable. That and Messi's highlights from
Which
yesterday.
takes me into the next game. So Messi, actually, he started with quite, he got slandered.
That's the game of the
For his
tournament
first
for me
game.
so far. Like underdog sort of game.
Saudi Arabia.
Watching it from the anthem to the end, mate. They looked so athletic. It was so good. Like I definitely can say. I think we all can agree that's the upset of the. That's my bottle, mate. Mate, COVID's going around again. It was never the precautious type. The guy that sits next to me at work's got COVID, and everyone today was testing me. And everyone's scared of COVID again.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Probably because people are traveling, man.
Yeah, everyone's scared of it. But yeah. That Saudi game, wow, they were so athletic, so good to watch, especially being 1-0 down to Argentina. I can't sort of fathom where their headspace would have been. You go down 1-0 to Argentina, it's going to go either two ways. You're either going to win like they did, 2-1, or you're going to get pumped.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And fuck, mate, have you seen that the halftime interview, not the interview, the halftime speech by the coach?
Yeah.
Fuck, that was good. I didn't know he's got to interpret it as well, and the interpreter starts to get angry. Like he obviously mimics
That's
the
a
passion.
channel the emotion.
Mate, so good.
Yeah, exactly. And look, that's what the World Cup's good for at the end of the day. Like, if it was routine where every team we expected to win won, then what's the emotion in it? And then all these other teams that are going to the World Cup wouldn't be rocking up. Like, why would you get into it? Like, right now we're sitting here and just talking about, not upsets necessarily, but here you're sitting here and looking at it like Australia could get through the 16 next week.
Wow.
But
they just
you know what I mean? They just need a draw against Denmark. And you look at
France to win,
Yeah, results like this as well. Like, you need that's what makes you enjoy the World Cup, because you don't know what journey or what path you're supposed to take on, but you only get it you get to take it only once every 4 years. And when you get there, bro, that's why most of these players would die for that country shirt that they wear.
Crazy, because you can just see how much it means to them, because it's once every 4 years.
Exactly.
It's like the Olympics, bro. It's a massive
Mate,
deal.
it's huge.
Exactly,
huge.
man. Like, what? If you're a player of Messi's caliber, how many Champions League semi-finals have you played? How many fucking Champions League finals have you played in? You've done how many league titles have you won with your team?
Yeah.
Like, this is the one that crowns you. And if you win a World Cup, like,
where does it sit? I've always wanted to ask, where does that sit? What is winning a World Cup like? Where does it sit?
I think for the players, I think it's the highest honor.
I reckon it
for
is,
the
because
players.
look, you're going against the entire planet. It's not just in your league anymore.
For the players, I think a lot of players would rather win a World Cup than win a Champions League.
Do you think if you were to say that, let's say, like, what are the top 4 leagues? We say La Liga, Champions League, the French League, and the Premier League. Each team that wins that, if they were to play the winner of the World Cup, who's more likely to win? Do you who's the most complete team?
I reckon the more complete team is within the comp they play the most.
The comp,
right?
say,
Exactly.
yeah,
The comps, yeah.
Okay.
But I'm just
so
saying,
it's more challenging to win it within the
Exactly.
World Cup, because you're not with those players all the
Chemistry
time.
is different.
You're not going a whole season.
But think about it, man. Like, you sign a 5-year contract, bro. You and fucking 20 other blokes
are going on this
doing
journey.
5-year contracts. So it means unless the team falls apart, for the next 3 to 5 years, we are playing together. And we're
You're living, breathing together. Yeah,
exactly. You know, like, that's when it goes from we're just teammates to we're going out to dinner together. Our missus are friends now.
Almost
like,
family.
Yeah.
You know, you hang out with the coach. Christmas, bro. Most of these players don't have Christmas at home.
I've seen that. Yeah.
You know, they don't have players Christmas at home. Their Christmas and having Christmas dinners being with the boys they play with. So,
Man, I wish I was in that position. It's so
Well,
good.
seeing as how you're single, yeah, you do wish, but
mate, nah, but-
yeah, it could be with the boys.
Yeah, but just with the boys, like, all the time. How good is that, eh? Mate, you know, honestly, that camaraderie that would come out of, like, being in a club, a tight-knit club, like, you just
Exactly.
imagine
And
what they get up to and how close
And
mates they are.
to be tight knit is usually what brings you trophies, because you can all be good players, but it's the players that really They get involved in each other's lives and get to know each other on a personal level, on a very, very deep personal level. That end up winning trophies because it's kind of like I can sense when things aren't going right for you, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. How can I fix that? And you even see the same in footy culture.
I reckon we can relate that to the Belgian team, eh?
Yeah.
That's what I've heard. So apparently, who's that centre back? He's played for Tottenham.
Toby Adder. I can't say.
Nah, is Vertonghen playing?
Vertonghen played for him.
Someone come out and said, "Oh, we're not winning because."
No, that was De Bruyne.
No. Someone today or yesterday come out and said we're not winning because our attack isn't scoring goals. Like, man, they're turning on. De Bruyne said about the complete team, said we're a bit too old, but I don't remember which player. One of my colleagues was showing me is like, man, they're turning against each other. It's crazy.
That's what happens, man. It's because,
but to throw like your teammates from the World Cup under the bus, like that's rough.
Yeah, but they also understand they're at the tail end of their career, and they have the weight. They've had the weight of a nation on their backs for a while because this golden generation for Belgium, they're expected to win a Euro, or at least go far in a Euro. They didn't. They're expected to do bits of the last World Cup and go far in the World Cup. They didn't. They're expected to do bits in this World Cup because it was the last World Cup. They didn't. Expected to do bits in the Euro, the last World Cup. They didn't.
So there's a lot of pressure mounting.
There's a lot of pressure because they're called the golden generation. Because if you went through that team player for player, there is enough players in that team to be winning games and getting far deep in cup competitions. And then when you look at it, like you look at the teams that they've maybe been dumped out by or teams that they've lost to. Like this morning, look who they lost to. You know what I mean? Like that's a game they should have won. Even the first game they did win, but they got away with one.
Was that against Canada?
Yeah, the first game against Canada. They got away with one, right?
Did they draw or did they win?
They beat Canada 1-0.
Did they beat them? I thought it was a draw.
No, they beat them.
They beat them. There you go.
So they got away with one there. And it was kind of like, all right, whatever, maybe a bad start. And then today it just unravels. And that happens, man. Like I remember seeing France 2010 in their World Cup. That team needed a refresh as well. And they fell out. They ended up having gone on strike against the coach of the World Cup. A lot of those players were exiled after the World Cup. Like it happens in world football, man. Like
I think it's more likely to happen in the World Cup than other teams because
it's higher stakes. Because if you're pissed off with your teammates at a club level, you can go sort it out in the dressing room, and that never gets out.
Yeah,
or it won't get out. Or
World Cup's a bit more publicised, the eyes on them. Yeah,
exactly. And it's
shorter
kind of
period
like,
of time.
Shorter period. It's like some of those players are looking at it like this is my last crack at ever doing anything in this. And I like to believe that every player that goes to the World Cup thinks they've got some chance of winning it, whether that's an outside chance or some unrealistic chance. But that's the thing about cup football.
Yeah.
Cup football is not as straightforward as the best team wins always. Sometimes you need luck to ride on your
Whoever gets on
side.
that roll, yeah.
Exactly, and you need that momentum, bro. That's how you see teams still going to semi-finals and you're sitting there and going, bro, how's this team in the semi-final? How'd they get there? And that's when people jump on the fairy tale as well, because the more big teams like get knocked out, you start seeing the crowd start to favour the underdog as well. So let's say, for example, Morocco, how they won this morning, right? If Morocco gets out of this group, bro, a lot of Africa will start riding Morocco because they're from Africa.
Yeah.
Start riding Morocco. You know, Senegal.
I'm on the Morocco bandwagon.
You know what I mean? So that's what the big thing is coming out of it. Which I guess speaking about Germany, which I want to touch base on about like
what is happening. Let's
not Germany,
talk
sorry, Belgium.
Germany, but let's talk Germany. Let's talk Belgium. Let's talk England. Even you can probably categorize them. What's going on there?
Okay, so Belgium for me, they're sticking with their old players. Like they've been too reluctant to drop the big names and start bringing in young guns and start playing the young players within the team because the older players they carry the name, they've proven. But then in a way, you could flip that argument and say those older players, they have buckled in big cup games and big cup competitions. They haven't delivered. So shouldn't you start looking at the next thing? And then into that, I kind of look at the Belgian manager and say, bro, it's not that good.
Okay.
It's not that good. The Belgian manager, bro, when he managed in the Premier League.
He's the ex-United coach here. What's his name?
No, not ex-United. He's, managed Wigan.
Okay.
Roberto Martinez.
Who's the other fella, the one that I'm talking about?
That's probably Carlos Queiroz.
Nah, the one with the gobble neck. He's got the big neck. Van Gogh?
Van Gaal. That's the Dutch coach.
Van Gogh's eyes.
Okay, so it's for the Netherlands.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, my bad.
So with that whole Belgian team, it's like they haven't got good players actually playing. Sorry, they haven't got the right players. I won't say good players. They haven't got the right players playing. And I think they just need a new coach, new players. That's what Belgium is.
Bit of an overhaul.
Yeah, and the thing is, I think why Belgium gets scrutinized so heavy is because if going into this tournament, I think they're ranked they're the second best team in the world.
I saw that.
Wise. So
Where the fuck did that come from?
and they've been first ranked. I'm pretty sure after Italy won the Euros, Belgium still retained number 1 status as the best team in the world. And a lot of people have always said, how is Belgium the best team ranked in the world? They've got nothing to show for this so-called golden generation. Like, you've got Hazard on the tail end of his career.
Mate, Hazard come out and even said, he goes, I'm too old, I'm not the... Which is fair enough. Like, it's good to be self-aware, but doesn't bring too much confidence to the
Hazard
team.
there, Witzel's done. Like, in terms of the international game, we've got a lot of players at the tail end. Vertonghen's done. Out of world, however you say it. He's on the tail end of his career as well. Like, you go through that team, you're going, by De Bruyne, like Michy Batshuayi, with all due respect, like, he couldn't hack it in the Premier League. He left the Premier League, and I don't know how well he's doing in the other league he's in. But again, that's what I'm just saying. Like, you've got a lot of players who they're not it there, or they're not.
It's just not them. It's just not them.
Whereas Germany, I couldn't tell you what's going on with Germany.
Mate, they were not too bad today, but man, you go back to that Japan game and you're just like, where was the imprint on the game? It's like they had no game plan, they had no headspace, they were worried about covering their mouth, like, which fucking burns me, mate. Like, I think that's a topic that I could talk about for 3 or 4 years. I'm the sort of person where it's like when you get a job, you sit with HR, they tell you this is our company policy. You follow the rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're entering a country, brother. You're not even entering a small little contract. You're entering another country. You got to respect their traditions. You got to respect their sort of culture. And for them to come out and you know, it's pretty funny coming from them because Ozil wasn't allowed to voice his opinion.
Wasn't allowed to speak,
They're covering their mouth saying, oh, we can't speak, we can't voice our opinion. Brother, concentrate on the game. Yeah. That's for me personally, you know, and fucking oath, it was nice to rub salt in the wound and see them lose, to be fair. And they should have lost this morning too. They should have lost this morning too. Spain just sort of got a bit reluctant after maybe like the 70th minute after they sort of slotted that. I could sort of see Germany coming back, but I don't know what their issue is,
With Germany, I don't know what's going on with Germany. I actually don't know what's going on.
Their defence is pretty shaky.
They're not... Look, Germany are not as good as people think they are, but in saying that, I don't know what's wrong with them. Because I remember when we did our World Cup predictions, I don't think you were here, Adam, but...
Everyone still rates them, yeah.
No, when it was Sui, Arnold and myself, I remember saying, I want to put Japan to finish second in that group. And then the boys were like, you're going with Japan to finish second. I was like, bro, I don't rate Germany. I was like, I can't tell you what it is, but I just don't rate Germany. Like, they're not this force that won the World Cup fucking in 2014. They're not that team.
Is that when they beat Brazil 7-0?
Yeah. I was like, they're not the team that went to the semi-finals in 2010. They're not that team. You know, like, they're in a transition. Maybe that's a better word to say. They're in a transition rebuilding phase. And the thing about Germany is they're going to come good. It's just not at this World Cup.
Did they win two World Cups in a row?
No, I don't think.
Because wasn't there a Götze goal?
Nah, so the Götze was 2014. 2010 was Spain.
Okay,
and then, they didn't win it back to back.
Okay.
So with that said, with Germany, like, they're going to come good because the way it is, Germany, in terms of developmental football, the actual Bundesliga and the German league, they've probably got the best, the top 3 best development systems of football in world football with the German league. So they'll keep on producing talent, man. Like that Musiala kid that we were raving on about, blah, blah, blah. Yes, I know he's got English ties and he could have played for England, but like...
Chelsea, yeah.
Yeah, but that kid, he's something else, right? You got your Sané's, they've pumped out Gnabry's. Like, they will continue to pump out players, the German league, because like I said, with Germany, the developmental system in Germany is off its head, man. They're really big on promoting their kids and in-house. Like the way Dortmund, like, for example, nurture players. If you want to take that, for example, like we rave on about Erling Haaland, and look, Haaland was good before he came. But
look where they took him. They gave him the opportunity. They gave him that shot.
Jude Bellingham.
Wow.
Again, they went and nicked him from Birmingham City, and look at what he's done. Jadon Sancho, Dortmund did the same thing.
Yeah, okay.
Mario Götze, Dortmund did the same thing. What's his name? Lewandowski, Dortmund did the same thing. So in terms of development football players, like Germany is on another level themselves. Yeah. So Germany will come good. It just won't be at this World Cup. And unfortunately for them, like whatever hopes they had of winning this World Cup, are kind of done for myself. So,
who do you think is going to win it? From what you've sort of watched so far, vibes. I know not everyone's played their second game, but who's sort of your tip?
My tip. I don't know. I've got this bias. I just think the World Cup will stay in. I think it'll stay in Europe. I backed France from the start.
They're doing bits, and Mbappe is just playing wow.
The thing is, I think France, because of the number
look
of
well
injuries
balanced.
they've had,
Yeah.
people sleep on France a little bit. But I think France they're a functional team.
They just make it work.
Yeah, they make what they have work, you know. I think Deschamps has a lot of respect from those players within that dressing room. I think a lot of those players want to kind of overcome this whole, the boys got injured, so you can't do it without the
Correct.
boys.
Yeah, no excuses. Fucking oath. I love that.
I think that's the thing I see in France as well. So I'm really riding on France hard. But if not France, man, I think it's going to be like a Brazil or something.
Yeah,
but
for me, it's Brazil.
I think France are just, France to me is a team I'm backing. But you never know, man. Like Spain could have a good run, I think. And
They're a pretty young squad, but they are doing bits.
and
If it's not this
sometimes
World
it's
Cup.
about the matchups you have, you know. So you might not look favourable at this time of the group, but depending on how the groups finish
Correct.
and the matchups you have.
And how you turn up on the day as well, man.
Exactly.
Like, fuck.
It's a one-game thing. It's not like the Champions League where you get
build
knockout
momentum,
football.
yeah.
It's 2 games. You get things wrong today, you can go fix them next week. It's not like that. It's more so like you turn up today, you play for 90 minutes. Whatever you do, you do.
Just like that Saudi game against
Exactly.
Argentina. Yeah. Correct.
You know, like the Saudis might have played their best football they'll play all tournament, and they might not be able to replicate that performance,
Yeah.
and that
Ever.
might be the reason
Yeah.
why they go out. But for them, that's a big deal. Like they lost to Poland, you know what I mean, for 2-0, which is what you would have expected them to do against Argentina. So, but with saying that, a lot of the groups are still open because of all the upsets that have
Upsets,
happened.
yeah. What about player of the tournament? Who are you really liking to watch? Who's sort of standing out for you?
I think everyone's got the same player of the tournament. I think everyone's riding hard on Jude Bellingham. bro.
Yeah, mate. Everyone,
Yeah,
eh?
everyone, even the girls that have never seen, it's like, oh my god, Jade is so hot. Oh my god,
He is
Jude.
good looking, bro.
Who cares about how good
Yeah.
he looks, bro? I care about what he does on the
And
pitch.
he's playing well.
Huh?
But what about, okay, let's dissect England for a little bit. I know we're going to wrap it up and it's not going to be too long, but what about England? Like, I know there's a lot of pressure on them that, you know, a lot of their players come from the top league and whatnot, and they're very talented pool. Like, I think if you sort of don't even need to know much about football and you sort of just know those players, like your Sterlings, you know, your Bellinghams, your Kanes, your Fodens, your Sakas, what's going on? Are they not gelling? Is it the coach? I think you obviously sort of know that sort of history of Southgate, and everyone sort of puts his head to the chop and block.
Yeah, so with
Is it political? Is it a political sort of thing?
It's not. I don't think it's political. I think it's more so. I've always had this stance of you got to let a manager manage, whether that's international level or club football level. Like whether you like to manage his decisions or you don't, you got to let a manager manage. In saying that, not back him. You got to let him do his choice, make his choices. Because at the end of the day, he lives and dies by the sword.
Yeah, but you don't want to be making these choices in the World Cup. You should already have your plan. You know what I mean?
But the thing is, with Southgate, he's got. I've always said this: Southgate football is not attractive at all. Southgate's got a team who doesn't know how to manage. Southgate's got players who doesn't know how to manage. But the thing that Southgate has is he's found a formula that's worked at him at 2 cup or 3, maybe 2 or 3, at 2 different world events. So he came 3rd place, I think, at Euros. I know this finished 3rd place. He got 3rd place at the World Cup. Finished Euros. He got to the final and lost. And then this, right? So he's got credit in the bank because of what he's done. The problem is the way that Southgate went about getting to those stages in the competitions, people don't like.
Okay.
Right? So we're not playing the brand of football we should be playing for the caliber of players that we have. We're not playing the players that we should be playing. Like a lot of people blowing up that Foden hasn't seen a minute. Whereas Henderson came on, for example, against the USA. And it's
Foden played the first game though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's
Second,
he didn't come on when Hendo hit. That sub doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
And I think with English fans, or what I've seen from the English media per se, or people that support England, they don't back Southgate, but when things are good, they're willing to kind of throw that to the side. But when shit turns over,
his head's on the chopping block.
you know, it's like the way Southgate played it's like against the first game against Iran, was it 6-2?
Yeah.
That they won. Everyone was over the moon.
Mate.
Not a complaint, blah, blah, blah. Everything's good. What are we worried about? They draw the USA game, which they expected to win and they should have won. then
Everyone wants his head on the
kick off.
chopping block. I think you know what it is. I think there's a lot of personalities in that England game as well.
It's not even about
but don't you
personalities.
think I personally think there's so much talent there that he sort of doesn't find that. I don't think that a lot of talent means it makes a good team, and I think that's where he's not finding the balance.
No,
Like personally,
I think he's found the balance, but the balance he's found people don't like.
but the balance he's found isn't getting him a result though.
That's too
That
early
result,
to call.
you know what I mean? Like that
It's
result
too
tonight.
early to call.
Yeah, but that
because-
result today, like you expect them to
Yeah.
walk through the park. I'm not rubbishing the team they versed, but you know you would think that
But
there'd
in
be a bit
saying
more.
that, they could literally go and win the next game, top the group, and
Yeah,
all's
6-0,
forgotten.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Everyone's like, "All right, sweet, whatever." Then they go to the knockout stage. They win a game in the knockout stage for the 16th. They're through to the quarterfinals, and you're like, "Well, wow, England." That's when you start hearing it's coming.
That's where
it's
they
coming
should be.
home.
Though I think the expectation does come with the talent, and with the talent comes results. And I think
Of course,
they need to
but
be turning
Southgate
those
isn't the
results.
first English manager to not know how to manage a group of or a number of talented players.
That's what I'm saying. I think there's a lot of talent.
Capello do it. Capello struggled with that for all the years he's did. The whole Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard argument. How do we fit him in the same team? Paul Scholes is playing left midfield and then on the bench at some stage. To why is this team not winning? We've got so many talented players. This isn't an argument that started overnight. This is years and
Been
years
going
and
for-
years and
okay.
years of England. Like, I think it just comes down to the manager that they select. Like, then they select. Southgate's always been a pragmatic defensive coach, and his football teams are always going to be set up and set
In
out
that
that
way.
way. So there's not, when I don't see Foden starting, I don't sit there and go, "Oh, bro, why is he not
Yeah,
playing-
me too.
Why is he not playing Foden? Like, this is the way he manages,
That's
and
how
this
he's
is the way he's
playing.
managed. Like, you've got enough years of him
Take
being
the game
manager.
and grab it by the neck and fucking
That's
go with
not,
it.
that's not how he manages.
In a general sense, I feel like you hire someone to do something, you let them do it. If you're going to micromanage, just do it yourself.
Correct. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You should let the manager. Although I don't think Southgate's the right choice, and I don't think
Of course.
he's
But
the
But he's
right
there now.
manager.
That's what we have. It's reality. You got to
It's-
take it and go.
But
Yeah, because,
he's
like-
got credit in the bank.
You're a CEO right now, right? And you have to have someone manage a team in your company. You hire them based on their credentials. You give them a probationary period, obviously 1, 2, 3. But then once they're doing their job, they know what they're doing.
Correct. You're not there.
You don't question every decision. that
They're
they
in
make.
those positions to make those decisions.
Exactly. You put them there.
Yeah.
So
no, I agree. And I think the last team I want to sort of talk about, the last two teams I think we should talk about is that Ronaldo, that Argentina Portugal sort of rivalry that's sort of bred by Messi and Ronaldo. Who sort of captivated you more, and who do you think is going to go further?
I don't think Ronaldo played well that first game.
That dive, was it a dive?
Mate,
Yeah.
you play for it. I've got no issues with that. You play for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think Ronaldo played well. I think Portugal, to a certain degree, I see shades of England as well. In
Lot of
terms
talent.
of, I don't think their managers are the right fit for that team.
Okay.
And I think the further on we'll go into, and I don't know. For me personally, I feel like there's no evidence behind this, nothing. But I just feel like the Argentinian players want to see Messi win a World Cup more than the Portuguese players. That's a personal opinion.
Agreed.
I've got no evidence to that, and I could be
It's your
completely
opinion,
wrong.
yeah.
But for me, when I watch the Argentinian side, and like when I look at when they won the Copa America, how happy everyone was. Like, they were happy for themselves.
What it means to
in
them.
a way, they were so happy for Messi. Like, they're like, oh yeah, like we just wanted to make sure Messi won one more cup before he retires. I'm like, you know, when I see that, I kind
You
of
want
think
that,
about.
yeah.
I think about it, and I say, when you look at those two teams, I just think Argentina are poised to go a little bit further than Spain, and I think the game football, like the amount of minutes that they're playing. Ronaldo hasn't played a lot of football going into this World Cup. I mean, Ronaldo's Ronaldo, and he's gonna do Ronaldo things, and Ronaldo will pull something out of his ass. So I don't doubt that he could do that, but I just think a match fitness will play a big factor in who influences their games more. And yesterday we saw Messi very much score a cracker goal. The assist isn't really an assist, but it's an
Yeah.
assist.
That goal, I reckon that goal was better than the Messi goal, to be fair, man. He
What,
took
the Fernandes goal?
Yeah, took
Yeah,
it.
it was better, much better.
Like the Messi goal was more pressure. They needed it to get their role up and out, like
Yeah,
sort of
but the Messi goal, it's more so I think why people look at it. It's just the fact that it's kind of the team needs something right
That's what I'm
now.
saying. Yeah, there was a lot more pressure.
So it's like bang, it was Fernandes to just score the goal to kind of go, we can breathe now.
and it was
you know?
fucking sexy.
Yeah, it was a sexy goal. So in that rivalry, yeah, I guess that's how I would look at it and just say, I just feel like the Argentinians will die for Messi
for it.
before the Portuguese die for Ronaldo. But again, there's no basis for that. It's just what I see, and
Your interpretation, basically.
That could be completely wrong, bro. Some of those players might run through a brick wall for Ronnie.
It's a soccer podcast, mate. It's all opinion at the end.
Football, you can't say soccer, bro.
Sorry.
You get crucified like they're crucifying the US
TikTok,
team.
On TikTok, we get butchered. It's a soccer podcast about our own personal football podcast about personal opinion at the end of the day. So take it with a grain of salt. But yeah, we're just a couple blokes in the backyard.
I think that's our opinion for the games that win.
Yeah.
Let's bring up and see what's up and coming. We're going to wrap this up. We've still got the fraud of the week and whatnot.
Yeah.
What are you sort of looking forward to?
Looking forward to probably more. So I'm looking Portugal Uruguay playing tomorrow morning.
That'd be
6 a.m.
good.
I'll watch that on the way to work. So I'm fucking buzzing.
Uruguay were terrible in their first game. Hopefully they.
And then, honestly, just a quick shout out to Australia. I know they won the game.
Oh, you know
Might
what?
go to the 16.
True. We're going to get ridiculed. I got mates who love the Socceroos, and fair enough. I love the Aussie spirit and stuff, and I watch the game and whatnot. Good on them, mate. I know Mitchell Duke personally.
I wasn't expecting that. I wasn't expecting them actually in that Tunisia game. I'm going to be quite straight up. The only thing I hate about the Socceroos, I want to call it now, it's not even the Socceroos themselves. I can't watch Socceroos games. I can't do it.
Neither. Usually.
Because, not even the soccer. I can watch the game on mute. I can't watch it with the commentary.
Oh.
The commentary.
How bad's the commentary been this World Cup, though? I watch it in Arabic now.
Other commentary is fine. It's just when Australia is playing, it's so biased, bro. Like, guys, I understand you love the country, but just try it. You don't even have to go 50-50. Go 70-30. Go 60-40.
They go like 99 to 1.
That's what
I agree. I said the same thing.
like,
to my
I'm not
cousin.
like, don't so lean heavy one side. Like, and that's with any sport, man. Like UFC, there's been times I'm watching fights in DC, it's just dick riding someone hard. I'm like, DC, shut the fuck up, bro. Like, just give everyone the dues in the game.
Call it how it is.
Call it both sides. Like, you're not giving any other teams or any other people props, and it's kind of annoying, bro. So that's the only thing I'd say about the soccer is. But look, it's good for them to get to win, and it's good to see like people in this, like in Melbourne, for example, and even in Sydney.
Mate, you say that? That was sick,
You know what I mean? Like, it's good to see that, and you want people to actually G up and like be happy about something. And I know the game in this country is not even considered a top 3 sport.
Get out of here, mate.
It's not even considered a top 3 sport, so it's quite good to see that there is some progress going on there and they're actually getting wins, you know. The Aussies made the round of 16, bro. They'd only be, like, I think the second ever team to do it. So, and they've only got to get, like, a draw next game. And they're pretty much there. So, yeah, hopefully they can get through. Hopefully Australia makes the 16th. And Aussies can have something to party about for a little bit.
I saw a meme that cracked me up, actually. It was, I feel bad for the commentator of, it was an Asian team. I think it was Korea, Japan or something. It's like son.
Yeah.
What was the other last? It was like 4 people with the same last name. It was, it cracked me up.
Commentating those games.
Games I'm looking forward to, honestly, not much, man. I just am keen to see how the groups finish up. Mainly because Group A, B, and C are still quite open at this stage when we film this podcast. Even Group E, so that's Germany's group. The games are still quite open.
Which is good, but yeah, like we said earlier, I think a bit of the quality is lacking, but it'll be... I'm keen to just start watching these knockout stages.
I just want to see who does well, man.
Who does bits under pressure, which will be good. All right, I reckon we've covered it. I think the sort of more in detail World Cup sort of
it's a 16
sort of podcast.
Start.
Yeah, that and they'll align with when Sui gets back. Sui's going to obviously be able to let us know about the vibe, what's going on behind the scenes.
I can't wait for the stories, man.
Yeah, it's going to be good. So I think there'll be a lot more World Cup content. That's sort of our wrap up.
He's back in the country next week.
Hopefully he gets to jump on this podcast.
Probably won't do the podcast.
I reckon maybe, but to be fair, if we could postpone it a day just for him, if we could, if we can, we can maybe make that decision offline. But it'll be good to have him. Mems will be here as well.
Yeah, Mems is back, definitely back.
That'll be good.
But before we wrap up, we've got to do one more segment, and that's Fraud of the Week.
Fraud of the Week, boys.
Mate, mine's pretty good. I like it. I got on the way here. I'll start off. And
kick it off.
I'm completely supporting Qatar. I love the movement they're making. I love the money they put in, and I love all of that. But, mate, their team, the Qatar football team is the biggest fraud. Like, at least you would think that they would perform at their home country, have a bit of passion. Like, their games are so boring to watch. Like, I don't even see any passion. I understand they've only been around for a little bit and they're only in there because it's there. But you'd think, like, you know, it's your home crowd, your home this, your home that. Like, you a bit more ticker.
You want them to pull up.
Correct. A little bit.
Show a bit more pride is what it's saying.
Okay.
Yeah. That and Ronaldo's dive. Just because I'm a Ronaldo header.
Friday of the week is everyone's goat. Kevin De Bruyne. Kevin
This
De
is
Bruyne.
for you, Mems. If you watch the podcast this
De
far,
Bruyne.
brother.
The guy looks like he just wants to be in a City jersey, whipping balls to Haaland. Brother, it doesn't work like that. And the reason he's my fraud of the week is you can't come out and do an interview like you did and admit you're too old and that you're probably not good enough to win and then drop a stick.
Even if you are, like a lot of people support him.
Shut up and you can say that after the World Cup. Go perform because your country is literally putting its hopes on you and you're kind of just going, I'm probably too old to be doing this. So
Mate,
he's my
excuses,
fraud of the week.
To be fair, like I want to bring up when Wales lost their second game and mate, they put Bale front and center and they had an interview and mate, I'm not the biggest Bale fan. Like I feel like he sort of fell out of football, but man, he entered himself so well. Said, you know, it's not about today, it's about our next game. Let's keep going. We got to put pride in the jersey. That's what you want to hear, no matter how bad your team's sort of going. Not we're too old. This
Optimism.
that pointing thing. Yeah. So for me, I just feel like I agree. Kevin De Bruyne's professionalism and sort of chucking his, but there's obviously things in the background that are happening with
of
that
course,
team.
but you keep him in house until, like I said, once the World Cup finishes, this team's probably going to be.
There's no
ripped
oil
apart.
money in Belgium, bro. He's got no fucking no one to
There's no
play for.
Haaland, bro. Haaland's just chilling back at City, just doing his thing,
Hanging out with
watching the
his
boys.
Touching on what you said before about them not watching this far into the podcast, mate, I have a bone to pick with you guys, and you guys are actually my fraud of the week because. So not you guys, Mems and Sui.
Yeah,
sorry.
fuck, I was gonna say us,
Not
bro.
you two.
I've
Not
turned
you
up
two.
here on a Monday,
Sorry,
bro.
sorry. Mems and Sui are
Yeah.
my fraud of the week because
Hey, make it bigger than that. Fucking fraud of the week from Mo is fucking our own Mems and Sui.
you put a little secret in the end of the podcast.
And they both
last
still
week.
haven't come up with it.
You said the number 21.
Correct. My
And you
favourite
said
number.
text the group chat that number to see if they actually watch.
And I've
it
even
again.
brought it up once to them.
And they're
And
like,
you did?
what?
Now, you know what, Mems? I think Mems goes, Adams, I see what you did there. He didn't mention the number, but
Okay,
but
it's not definitive, mate. Sorry,
but Sui's got a bit of a, they're both
on
travelling.
holiday.
Yeah.
They're both having fun.
Mate, they're going to rinse you for them being there for the week.
That's fine.
They
can
won't even
rinse me
find
all
out.
You know
out.
what?
bro.
As-
Relax.
What are they
you
gonna do?
As
What are they
their-
gonna do? Cut my pay?
as what's it called? The thumbnail, put a photo of Mems travelling and a photo of Sui travelling. I think that
I don't think any of their travel photos can be put on.
Nah, they
social
can, I
media.
think Sui's can. Sui's been a bit more sensible than Mehmet.
I'm just kidding. Nah,
What do you mean, bro? They won't even see this far into the podcast. Say
Yeah.
you what, bro?
And Arnold too. I want to see if you get him, mate. So the number for this week is 11, and let's see if you guys watch it this far.
we're gonna have a new thing where everyone has to comment the number of the week.
That's it.
And
Nah, they'll just skip to the end.
All right, that's us
That's
done.
a wrap,
It was
boys.
good
Thank you
to
so
sort of
much.
Pleasure.
Put our opinion out there, and I think
back
next
with
week
more
will
World
be a lot
Cup
more.
content next week.
That's it. Thanks, guys.
Yep.
Cheers.